Welcome back. In the last video, we installed AI Optimizer in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and that's really the fastest way to get started. But what if you want full control, no dependencies, and the ability to run large language model right on your laptop? That's what we are doing today, installing AI Optimizer locally with Olama's Llama 3.1 and Oracle Database 23 AI running in a Docker container. So let's check our environment. First, we need to check Python version. So Python, and it's 3.11.13, which makes it sufficient for running AI Optimizer and Toolkit. Next thing is Homebrew. Homebrew is free and open source package manager for macOS and Linux that makes it easier to install, update, and manages software from command line. It's widely used by developers because it handles dependency automatically and provides quick access to thousands of libraries, tools, and applications. Let's check it. Brew minus version. And 4.6.10 is currently the latest version. Next thing we need to check is our container environment. And since we are on a Mac, we are going to be running Colima. Colima is a lightweight container runtime environment for macOS that lets you run Docker and Kubernetes using Lima virtual machines under the hood. It's especially popular on Apple silicons because it provides fast, easy to use, and Docker compatible container management without requiring Docker desktop. Brew install Colima. So as you can see, we already have Colima installed. So we just need to see what is going on with it. Colima status. Okay, Colima is not running, so we can start it. Colima start. As you can see, it will start the entire virtual environment, and it takes a second to provision and start everything. Okay, so let's see Colima status now. And you can see that Colima is running using macOS virtualization framework. Next thing is to check our Ollama. Ollama is lightweight platform for running large language models, LLMs, locally on your computer with simple commands. It is designed to make downloading, managing, and serving your models like Llama 3 or GPT-OSS fast and developer-friendly without needing complex infrastructure. So we have to install it first. So brew install Ollama. Since I already did this, Ollama is installed on my machine. On your could probably take a while. And since Ollama is running under brew package management, we can simply say brew services start Ollama. So Ollama is successfully started. Now, what we need to do is to download our LLMs, and we will do that by using the Ollama commands. So we are going to do Ollama pull Llama 3.1. Okay. So now we are pulling the LLM large language model. And since that will take a while, I will pause the video. Okay, so it did, as you can see, it downloaded the entire large language model and it successfully started. So the next thing we need to do is to run to pull the MXBAA embed large, which is embedding model for our vector search or vector similarity application. Done. Now, next thing is to run Docker container for our 23AI database. So let me first clear the screen. Clear. Here. To start installation of the database, we need to run this docker run command. And we have docker run -d, which means download. And we have a port on which it will operate, and then we have an Oracle password with parameter, which is passed to the database, and the name of the database and the platform, Oracle database. It's Linux on ARM64, and from which image it will be installed. So let's try it. Let's hit it. And since we already did that, and we have a container running already under that name, we are simply getting an error to first remove the name or change the container name. And I will just start that database. But in your case, if you're running this for the first time, it will download and install the database. We can just start the database by running docker start and the name of our database image. Okay, so now it runs. We can check if it runs with the next command, and it's running under the name db3. Let me get to the designated folder of Optimizer. In my case, it's demo, and we need to run this command: git clone and the name of the repository. So it's what it's doing right now. It's cloning the fresh copy of the AI Optimizer to your local directory. CD AI Optimizer, and we need to go to folder src. Okay, where we have our launch server Python scripts. Next thing we need to do is to create virtual Python environment like this. We're gonna do first the copy of VNV. With this command, we created VNV copy folder, which we are going to activate using the pip install and upgrade all the modules setup. So as you can see, our requirements are already satisfied. And now we need to install all the modules that we are using in our scripts, in our Python programs. Okay, it's settling all the dependencies, and it's all successfully installed. The next thing what we need to do is to run the server within the Streamlit environment. So let's do that. As you can see, we are going to launch Streamlit run launch client.python script like a server on a port 8501. Okay, so this is our server, which is loading up right now. And as you can see, it is running, but it says that no language models are currently configured. So it's disabling that chat client. Let's fix that immediately. So let's go to configuration and go to models. And we are going to enable the locally running Llama 3.1. Remember, we started the Llama 3.1 within the Llama. So let's see if that works. Model updated, Llama 3.1. it works. So next thing with that we have to do, or we can enable, because it runs locally, we can enable MXBAA embedding large model by simply enabling it, because it runs locally on a server. Remember, we started the thing. Okay, so it both works. So let's check what is going on in the chat. Now the chat is saying different thing. Database is not configured, and it's disabling vector search and select AI tools. Never mind, but we can try the chatbot. So let's ask him a simple question. Hi, who are you? That's what it will answer. Hello, I'm your assistant. So it works. Let's try some other things. Let's configure our database. Configuration, database. So database user is a specially created user for this, MCP_user. Okay, I will not tell you what is the password, but you can use my database connection string, which is very simple actually, and you will use it. You can use it as well. It's local host, and then the port, which is 1521, if you remember, and pluggable database, or CDB. In our case, I will connect to pluggable database, so it's free PDB1. So let's see if this works. Yeah, it says database connected successfully, and we have database vector storage, which is actually not enabled because it's not populated. We can populate that at split embed, so we can do it here at local, and we can upload a file from our local repository, file source local. I'm gonna use this file, AI Vector Store Search User Guide. Okay, we're gonna name the repository, so it will be Vector Store User Guide. Okay, so let's do it. Populate Vector Store. It will take a second or two. Okay, so Vector Store got populated. It says that it created 636 chunks. And let's try what it can do. Let's try using our vector store, and instead of LLM, we are going to use vector search. And this vector search will use our previously created vector store with MXBAA embedding model. So let's ask him something which is connected to our document. For example, describe vector indexing in details. Let's see what it's going to answer. Okay, here we go. Okay, vector indexing is vectors, a mathematical entity, vector embeddings. It shows the types of vectors, and it displays the benefits of vectors, and it describes where it did find the information. First reference is found at chunk 37. The next one, for reference text, it was in chunk 635, and it's altogether is from AI Vector Search User Guide PDF. So as you can see, it works much better than public LLM, which doesn't have a clue about vector indexing. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna show you how to save your configuration. So it's, if you want to save the settings of model settings, you can, for example, use the GPT Mini from directly or GPT from OpenAI and just add the API key here and save it. And that's it for this episode. You now have AI Optimizer running locally. In the next video, we'll go deeper into the toolkit itself. I'll show you how to use testbed, chat features to experiment with prompts, datasets, and model behavior. Stay tuned.